Last Night in Soho opens in the countryside with a young girl, Eloise, who is dreaming of moving to the big city and having a glittering career in fashion. And basically it opens with her getting her acceptance to the London College of Fashion. She moves to London. She finds herself in a hall of residence with a bunch of students that are not particularly nice, and she is not living the life that she wanted, so she moves out. She finds a bed set that's very kind of like a throwback from the 60s. There's still some of the decorations from the 60s in it even. She finds that. It reminds her of home and also of where she wants to go. She rents that. She settles in there pretty well. And then I think the first night she's there, she falls asleep and she's transported in her dreams through time back to the 1960s. And in this dream, she follows this girl called Sandy, who's everything Eloise wants to be. Edgar and I first met because Sam Mendes introduced us, and we went on a night out in Soho, and he told me about his idea, and I told him that I used to work in a bar. I think at the time I still was working in a bar and had lived above a strip club in Soho, so I knew it very well. And he asked me for a tour of the sort of illicit places that you find out in Soho that you only if you live there. So we went on a night out. I took him to Trisha's and the Toucan and Troy and all these sort of like, you know, dingy clubs that aren't Soho House. And he told me the story and I loved it. I thought it was like an absolutely fantastic story and I couldn't wait to see it on screen. And then I think about maybe 6 months later, he phoned me up and said, "Do you want to write it with me?" And I said, yes, that's a very easy question to answer. Working with Edgar is just fantastic. He's just such an amazing collaborator. He's so much fun to work with. He's so much fun in the room. He lets you be playful. He also lets you be dumb, which is so important to get a really good script. Because sometimes you have to say like really dumb ideas, and Edgar allowed me to be an idiot, which was very kind of him. When it came to writing it, we rented an office in Soho, actually, and we sat, and I think we spent 2 weeks with a whiteboard just going through everything, like really analysing the story, what extra parts might be needed to make it feel like a fully fleshed out film, and talking loads about the characters. And at the end of those 2 weeks, we'd already got really the outline of the film. And then he started writing, I started writing, we sent scripts back and forth, scenes back and forth, and like slowly built the thing until it was, you know, the first draft of the script. And then we came back together again and we sat down in the room and we went through it, and then we sent it to, you know, the fantastic producers, Naira Park, and got their feedback and just kept working, kept refining it. So it was, sometimes we were in the room together, sometimes we were in different continents, sometimes I was on the set of 1917, sometimes he was in LA. Yeah, we made it work. Last Night in Soho is a psychological thriller, and with that, the key elements are always that it must be thrilling as a get-go, but also the psychology in it needs to pertain to the characters. So you need to build characters that the audience relate to, that understand, and then you need to create fears for those characters that feel real to the audience. So in this case, you know, with Thomasin Mackenzie's character, Ellie, the fear of losing your mind, of not sure, like, if what's real and what's fake, of finding yourself in a new city and trying to grow up and trying to fit in, and at the same time finding yourself very different from everyone else. Those were the key elements that allow you to sort of build this into a psychological thriller.